Hello, hello, and welcome to another Warhammer update video of the past two battles I've played. Considering I'm just probably going to make a video of every next two battles, depending how they all go. So, that's just how I'm going to do things. Same way, there's some people who like watching me update about stuff, so here we go. This is this tale and story of versing Orks for the first time and more Tyranids. So, my name is Brian Wheeler. I started picking up Warhammer back in October because my brother and I played my first match a few weeks ago, and I can officially say I'm hooked in playing. I like the tabletop role playing and stuff. Been playing a few games here and there, so now I can. What I play is kind of like a Raven Guard, the Raven Guard Raptors, the Raptors chapter, but I have a homebrew called the Autumn Brigade. That's just what I call them. I do have a lore idea for it, which I will post one of these days. Wonder why I have strong mouth is because when I was in the military, I had like a heat stroke incident. Something happened, and I can't talk right unless I'm biting down on something. Like I have this like little lifesaver thing, or icebreaker, I should say. I'm biting down on it. I can talk. So as long as it's not melting, I'll see how long I can talk with it. So it's the closest normal I can sound. So anyway, moving on. I'll just move that away because it's not as comfortable. Okay, so Orks and Tyranids. There's a gentleman who wanted to play Orks. I went to a place to play Orks. It was a 1,000-point list because he had a combat patrol of Orks, but he was able to make proxies for a few more things. And I'm like, okay. I must say, trying to whittle down to a 1,000-point list is actually kind of hard. 2,000 or 1,500, I've been able to like, okay, I don't have everything yet. I have proxies, but I was like, okay. That is something, but, you know, trying to build it up is, go down is actually a lot harder than you think. But, because I want to show something. So I played a list with Orks. I used, like, a thing of Incursors, Infiltrators. No, I didn't use Infiltrators, actually. Oh, gosh, what did I do with the Orks? I said I was going to post the list of what I had every single time when I did it. So if this is what I used for that game was, this is wrong. That is not what it was. I screwed that up. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and think. I know I used Incursors because what I use differently is I found the type of suit, the Invictor Warsuit, the tactical suit. I don't have it yet, so I just kind of proxied it with my Redemptor Dreadnought. Has the ability that, you know, it targets a monster or vehicle after, you know, a nearby Phobos unit was attacked. It has like an advantage on like shooting at her. So I completely forget what let me just tell you what it says, because I've been using that kind of idea. So I'm not just talking about my butt. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, when a friendly adept is started a Phobos infantry unit within 6 inches of this model's target on attack, this model can use this ability. If it does, after that enemy's model unit has finished making its attacks, the model can shoot as if it were your shooting phase. But resolve those attacks and only attack that enemy unit, and only if it's an eligible target. So, it's toughness is a little bit weaker than the Redemptor, but it's got some very decent attacks, and punching-wise, it's very strong. I just kind of like that, kind of pairing that with Incursors, so that's what I kind of did. But I got something new. I went to the Warhammer store, took my brother there for the first time, and I got something I've been looking at, and I built it. I painted it yesterday, but this is the Storm Speeder, and I chose the Thunderstrike, what's it called? The Thunderstrike version. I believe it is. The Thunder. Yeah, Thunderstrike, that's what it's called. I chose the Thunderstrike because it's got the biggest profiles for able to, you know, wound big stuff. And if it hits a monster vehicle thing, other units can attack it with re-rolling the wound roll, or no, adds one to the wound roll. So just kind of having this idea, it made it pretty good. So the paint job and everything. And it's the first one I have like on a little stand too. Really proud of this one too. It looks nice. So that is officially my second vehicle as well, so I'm happy with that. But we played against Orks, and I can see why people like playing with Orks. Painting-wise and everything, they're pretty cool. And playing against them was actually probably one of my more funnest matches so far. It was kind of fun. They have some shooting, melee-wise, stay far away. But shooting-wise, I did pretty well against him. Uh, they're very complicated in trying to, like... They got this big bubble thing that does, depending on the roll of the die, does so much damage. It has got a lot of damage. Like, a lot. It was bad. But, we didn't use... I also, for the first time, I also went out to the Warhammer store. I made sure to buy cards. So I actually have cards to play with and everything now. That's something I was looking for. I wasn't planning on getting it so early, but I was like, you know, since I have it, I'll get it so that way I can play with him. This was his first match ever, this Orc player. So I decided, no, I'm not going to use the cards because that gets a little bit complicated with everything else. So we'll just do 5 objectives. Each one's 5 points. It's an easy way to start learning. And that's how I've kind of been playing with myself in some things. That sounded wrong. And all that, how that works. And it's a couple games I played that way. So that just makes sense. So using the cards and everything will be a gradual thing to learn. He knew a lot about Orks. He just started getting into it, and he likes painting them. And I was like, cool. But we played almost the closing of this place that we were at. I mean, they were about to close up, and we left for like 10 minutes left before they closed. So, but at the end of the thing, we went full 5 rounds, and I was able to hold on to objectives a lot better than he did. Because again, I know what I'm doing a little bit more than he does, but he knew quite a bit of what Orks did with abilities and everything. But again, there's a lot of stuff in Warhammer with everything. Like the game I played yesterday, I couldn't remember. I forgot a couple of things. Like, oh gosh, I forgot about that. And that I keep screwing up on. So it's just kind of like, you forget something. It's like, oh, well, dang it. But some things we keep messing up on and studying and whatever, so that's okay. But it was a fun little thing to play with and everything. But the Orks, I beat him. It was my first time playing Orks, and I beat it. But I mean, the guy's first time player. But I mean, I could say that. I mean, my first time I ever played was against Tyranids, and I won that game on the first solo match ever. So I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, he loved playing the game and stuff. His first time playing, he was super excited, super stoked. I'm like, that's awesome, man. So it was a fun time. It was a very fun time playing Orks. So that was my 3rd solo victory. And then yesterday I played against Tyranids, against the other player who played in the team game with Tyranids, and that team match I played. I hadn't played one-on-one before. It was a 2,000 point match. I do have the list for that I can post. It was originally going to be a 3,000 point match, but we did 2,000 instead. I'm like, oh, okay. So we did a 2,000 point match, and it was it was pretty chaotic. But I planned better for Tyranids this time because I wanted to make sure. Well, if we were doing a 3,000 point list, I had certain things, but because it was 2,000 point, I wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure I could fight Tyranids because they're very heavy stuff. I learned from that team match game, and the first time I played Tyranids too. They got some heavy stuff, and I need to make sure I got some vehicles that can pack some punch. That's why the Speeder Thunderstrike. It's got the ability, you know, being able to hit and everything. It just sucks on melee, but far away distance is great. So I was looking at different vehicles and everything, tried to use, okay, Predator, Annilator stuff. Because a lot of things is just like, I gotta do, you have to try to plan like, okay, that's why you interchange things out of the list. I use Battlescribe to do that a lot more easily. And it just makes it very much interesting and stuff. He was ahead for majority of the game on points, but then I took away an objective from him, and he couldn't take it away from the Terminators I had there. Plus, I had this boy, and I was using the Invictor Warsuit, as opposed to the Redemptor Dreadnought, that just again proxied it in, and they were kind of holding that objective. The Invictor got down to 1 wound. he kept whiffing. He kept having bad. No, he didn't. It's not that he didn't have bad dice rolls. He had some decent dice rolls. I made the best saves I've had so far in any game during this game. For some reason, I was hitting a lot of my saves. It was just like, wow, okay. I know, what is it, dice tell stories? But this is the first time like the dice really tell the story. I hit very well on all the saves. So I still wouldn't take down that giant hive tyrant thing. That claimed the middle objective. I'm like, yeah, he could have that. That's fine. But everything else, I took over the sides, and we were playing with cards as well. And we got to round 4, or we're about to start round 4, and again, the place where I was about to close, and he had to go home and everything with work. And he's like, is there any point kind of playing again? I was like, well. So before my turn, he's like, yeah, we're gonna end it. He wanted to call it. So I was like, okay. So I won that game by a couple points officially, all because I held on to a few more objectives and the cards I had for secondary thing. They sucked on my end. I was like, there's no way I can do behind enemy lines on one turn. I'll just wait till that and burn it for a CP to have at the end. It'd be better to have that. So, second time versus Tyranids solo. Great. On a team match, is still that one thing I did. But Orks and Tyranids, and I still have plenty of opportunities to play others and play more people and everything. There's a lot to learn and do. So it's pretty good. Very great. I'll try to post the battle list. Well, I don't know where the Orc one is, but let me tell you the one I use for the Tyranid list. At least this is a 2,000 point kind of list. This is what I use for a point list. 1985, 100 points. So 1,985 points. I had Kayvann Shrike as the Warlord. I had 5 characters with the Lieutenant and Apothecary with a squad of 5 Hellblasters. The Librarian and Phobos armor with the not Intercessors, with a squad of Infiltrators, 5 guys. A Lieutenant in Phobos armor with the Shadow War Veteran thing, which I keep forgetting about that strat, with Incursors. And a Chaplain jump pack with the Blade-driven Deep Infiltrator ability with the Vanguard. So, other than that, the Kayvann Shrike was paired with the Assault Intercessors jump packs, 5 guys. I had a Devastator squad, 2 have Meltas, 1 have the missile, and the other one has a, oh gosh. What does he have? Melta. Glass cannon to try to do big hits on stuff. And the sergeant, he has a pistol. He has a plasma pistol and Thunderhammer. I will say, my Devastators, in the Orc game, they did kind of well. They were able to target some things. But in this game, that would be... about my saves were good, but the Devastators, they could not... They targeted a couple of, like, the Tyranid big stuff, and they couldn't... I did keep them out of line with stuff, but the few times they did target stuff, they couldn't hit jack. They could not do a single thing. Like, try to use the las cannon, fail in the hit roll. Try to use this one, fail in that roll. I'm like, dang it. So I couldn't really do anything with the Devastators that round. That sucked. I did try to implement an Eradicator squad, which are good against vehicles and monsters. The one time I shot them, they failed everything. Although again, talking about abilities, I completely forgot about the ability that I could reroll the wound roll, reroll the hit roll, reroll the damage roll when it's targeting monsters or vehicles. And these things were monsters. And I didn't think of that. And I only shot them once. That was stupid. So I kept the Incursor squad, Infernus squad. The Infernus just stayed in my home objective. They just held that the whole time. Sternguard, I put them through and everything. Like the Orc game, the Terminators, he brought in his Choppa things during the Orc game, and they went after my Sternguard, and my Sternguard went after them. They had like the final kind of fight ability, like Orcs are never beaten. Again, my Sternguard Sergeant held strong. The Sternguard is my favorite unit. The Sergeant held strong. Like one guy died, and he used his Power Fist to punch in the thing in the face, killing the chopper. So, Terminator squad. During the Tyranid game, they worked. I didn't use them for the Orc game. I know that. I didn't use them for Orc game. The vehicles, I used Invictor Tactical Warsuit with a twin autocannon. The Predator Annilator, which has 2 las cannons, a Hunter Killer Missile, and the Storm Bolter, along with the armor track. Again, when I tried shooting with the Predator on some things, it wouldn't kill the thing. The thing kept making its saves on that one. I'm like, dang it. So that didn't work too well in that instance. And again, the Thunderstrike, which did do its job pretty well. So it's 3 vehicles on that. But that's what I did for the Tyranid match and the Orc match. So those 2 matches out of the way. But so the only 2 things on a single level I lost on was against Blood Angels, which is probably the most handed loss. I mean, tactically, I lost it. And then the Demon Army, which I completely sucked on. It was terrible. I completely got destroyed in that demon thing. I was pretty much tabled, I think. I could have, if I could have hit the thing, yeah, I could have been tabled him, but it was unlikely. I was screwed in that. But I don't know. Of course, it all depends on what I have around me and everything for, I don't know, just who I can play and stuff. But I'm looking forward to playing more. There's always more people to play. I always see people playing, so it's gonna be nice to play more things in the future. So give me ideas for how to build better lists. What stuff vehicle wise is out there that I should maybe can try, because I'm not planning on buying anything for a while. So proxying it, what would be good combinations to do. And I'll see you again for the next Warhammer Battle Report update. Goodbye.